Akhand Vidyashram, Sutra 4, Balawastha, the first 7 years of my life. Before I proceed further, according to Akhand Sutra, human life can be divided into 5 major components. The first 7 years is Balavastha or childhood. Second, Kishoravastha or the young child or young adult as a student. Third phase is Grahasth or professional phase for 21 years. Fourth phase is Vanaprastha for 28 years. The last fifth is Sannyas for 35 years. Now please note the sequence: 7 years, 14 years, 21 years, 28 years and 35 years. Anyone who can live for this entire phase to the best in every phase would be able to make optimum use of human potentials and do what is really expected of a perfect human being. Now, welcome to Akhand Vidyashram. Once again, my mission, the impeccable wisdom, my discovery, Devi, the divine design of nature, with which every perfect object is designed and created. The entire objective of Akhand Vidyashram is to share with the world a wisdom of the kind which cannot be questioned or found defective, so that we don't have to unlearn and relearn knowledge from school, college to the university and research. Let there be a uniform syllabus for the entire world. Now, my truthful, honest autobiography. Whatever I'm trying to explain in my videos is my experiential knowledge, which I have experienced truthfully and try to understand that in the light of modern sciences, have the conviction, then the knowledge or the wisdom which I've been able to apply in my day-to-day life to become a perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy person without any constraints or restraints of any nature. I'm a living example of the subject which I'm discussing about, I'm sharing with people. Since I have gained tremendously, I'm sure everyone could benefit from it. There's something which I would like to start in the beginning itself. I was born on 30th March 1951, not 29/3/1952. Unfortunately, someone had given this particular date in my school, which continued, was difficult to change thereafter. Why it was done, I had no idea. I am not responsible, but I would like to put it on record that I was born on 30th March 1951, so that we can proceed, understand unfolding of things in a systematic way. Meantime, I am also made to understand by my own Antaratma that I took Mahasamadhi 117 days before my present birth. There is a hint in this particular thing. I will leave it at that. Mahasamadhi, in other words, is equivalent to your physical death, not atmic death. Now, what is the wisdom behind this Mahasamadhi, 117 days? Let us explore. A fetus takes 22 weeks for complete formation. From the time of conception to this stage, only after 22 weeks, the fetus is ready for further development. As a result, abortion is not permitted after 24 weeks. But up to 22 weeks, it is permitted because fetus is not complete. Human soul should enter the fetus only after that day. And it should, according to Akhand Sutra, it should enter through the top of the head and then take charge of the entire development of the physical structure. Divine nature has also produced genetic structure with double chromosomes. One can be dominant, another is recessive. Whatever may be the genetic structure the person has inherited from the parents, the soul can create an ideal functional design of chromosomes, a genetic structure to create an ideal body for enlightening life so that she can achieve all the objectives without any physical problem or mental problem, emotional problem, religious, spiritual, or other problems. Without any constraints or restraints of any nature, such a soul who has an enlightened soul within, who has transformed the whole genetic structure to that, would be able to do it beautifully. Now, the choice of parents, my mother was highly enlightened, great devotee of all the gods and goddesses of Sanatana Dharma. And in India, our Sanatana Dharma always give importance to mother first and father second. I can totally understand because she is the Janani, she has given us the birth, she has nurtured us and taken care of everything. Her emotional thing is always makes. So our first teacher is always the mother, followed by father. Fortunately, my father, Hiralal Sudotra, was as enlightened as my mother, and I 100% sure, seeing these two enlightened people as a couple, I made the choice. This is the ideal fetus to get into it. Place of birth, Katra, Vaishno Devi, Bharat. As I've told you in the last video of Punarjanam, Trikuta mountain has got 3 peaks. Similarly, Mata Vaishno Devi also has 3 pindis, the 3 stone images. And Katra is also surrounded by 3 hills of Shivalaya mountain range. What is the secret about this place? I have already explained. And just for the recap, these 3 represent Trinity as well as Divyang, which I am mathematically talking about. And intuitive, impeccable wisdom. The human brain takes 7 years to form an integrated network of the complete nervous system. As I told you, when soul enters, can take charge of developing the nervous system optimally to suit the journey. It will need 7 years to make a complete network, and with the potential of, there are about 100 billion neuron cells, and each neuron cell can make 20,000 memory synapses. If the entire nervous system is totally integrated, can you imagine 100 billion neural cells multiplied by 20,000, the kind of memory we can have in our brain. And this can be done provided the first 7 years. The synapses are made with the perfect, impeccable wisdom, not the kind of knowledge which needs to be unlearned or relearned, which will be very, very difficult to remove from the memory synapses. A child, in my opinion, should learn every form of arts and sciences by observing every aspect of the divine nature. He should be in tune with the perfection. And no formal school education of any nature should be encouraged. And fortunately, I was lucky that I went to school at the age of 7 years. As a result, I had observed things. My brain was full of the wisdom which was required to build on for next stage, which you're going to see as we proceed. But why so? Why 7 years I was not admitted in school itself? By divine plan or nature, my father's business was nomadic type. We would spend summer in Kashmir Valley, winter in Katra, Vaishno Devi. So what happened in Kashmir and what happened in Katra? First thing, visit to Mata Vaishno Devi was in 1956 when I was 5 years. I am glad to put on record the chief priest of Sri Mata Vaishno Temple, Sri Amir Chand, was a close relative and well-wisher of my family. So as a result, whenever I went there in the morning, I could participate along with him doing all the rituals for the goddess Vaishno Devi. As a result, I had the privilege of observing the 3 pindis from a close angle because everything will be removed, given, washed, and then all the formalities will be done. What I observed was the left pindi, which represent Mahasaraswati, is pure pink quartz, which represent the pure knowledge. Middle one represent Mahalakshmi, goddess of wealth. Incidentally, this particular stone image has saffron streak. It's been like a gold. So Lakshmi, wealth. So wealth was represented in the form of gold. The right one was pure black granite and represent goddess of moksha. This information was ingrained in my brain. At that stage, maybe I didn't understand what exactly I was observing. But there is a time for everything. But now I know Mahasaraswati, the goddess of knowledge, has a pure knowledge. Mahalakshmi, the wealth, and moksha. The three aspects are Purusharth. That means Jnana Yoga are knowledge, wealth, and moksha are equally important to live life completely. They are also representative of Lord Brahma, the Saraswati's consort, Lord Vishnu, Mahalakshmi's consort, Lord Shiva, Mahakali's. And these three, Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, are Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. They are not three different gods. They are one integral part of the creation itself. Brahma represents Lord of creation, the first stage of 22 by 21. Vishnu represents Dasavatar, 10 mandatory stages of development. And Shiva represents the last stage of maturation at 0.34419, 5 digits, which represents 5 Panchabhutas, and with everything is formed from Panchabhutas, sustained by Bhuta, and finally dissolves into Bhuta. All this knowledge actually made me understand and then conceive Devyank and give the world a Devyank ratio sequence for the first time in the world, with which all the perfect knowledge of the entire universe can be summed and explained scientifically without any defect. So I am very glad that this information was put into my brain in Katra Mata Vaishno Devi temple first. This was followed by my first visit to Amarnath. 1957, we were not in Kashmir, Srinagar, or part of the Kashmir Valley. We were staying in Marthand, which is old, Pandava temples, Surya temple of Pandava's time, and also Pahalgam, which is the first village on the way to Amarnath Yatra. Even Lord Shiva started journey to Amarnath Cave from Pahalgam, which means the first village. So from there I had a chance to visit Amarnath Cave. I am also made to understand Lord Shiva revealed Tantra to Goddess Parvati in cave, the process how we could attain moksha in our living life. I am also made to understand the wisdom of Tantra was ingrained in Amarnath Cave at that particular stage. Even Adi Shankaracharya also wrote Saundarya Lahari by reading only 53 of the ingrained 108 sutras of Amarnath. But I am glad the seeds of Tantra Vidya, where all the 108 sutras of original Tantra will be explained in my work, and seeds of that was sown in my brain or my mind in Amarnath Cave way back in 1957. How nature can put the information and then slowly in the background we can start understanding concept one by one. At this juncture, I would like to say snow shivling, which is there in Amarnath Cave, also represent three Vrit Akrit, which is also associated with shivling in such a in a mathematical language, we can call it a formula of pi, 22 by 7, which is equivalent to 3 full circles and 1/7 of another circle. And this 22 by 21 is 1/3 of pi, which is the first stage of creation, which we'll be discussing later in detail. This wisdom must have been put and it manifested over a period by one. At the age of 7, I insisted on sacred thread ceremony for myself. Normally, I wonder how many people will, but I also understand for a genuine Brahman to become a Brahman, thread ceremony is mandatory. Till that stage, he is like any other person. And by birth, and I can assure you, anyone born in any of the castes can benefit provided he goes through the process of Upanayana and understands how the spiritual world works within. It will be a wonderful journey, but choice is in there. But there are two things which are important part of Upanayana or the sacred thread ceremony or Sandhya Vandanam, how we do the prayer to Lord Surya, sun, and also the chanting of Gayatri Mantra. What is the relationship with Gayatri Mantra and Sun God? We'll be explaining at a later date. But I am also glad this life has given me a privilege to create a new version of Gayatri Mantra, which I call Akhand Gayatri Mantra. And seeds of that must have been shown during the first process itself, and then over a period I've understood. But at this particular juncture, I would also like to share with you, ever since my first visit to Mata Vaishno Devi, 1956, I've been chanting Durga Mantra, Sarv Mangal Mangle, Shive Sarvat Sadhike, Sharai Triyambike, Gauri Narayani Namostute. This is over a period has become my ajapa japa. Subconsciously, mentally, I'm just chanting this 24/7. But after initiation to Gayatri Mantra, I started chanting Gayatri Mantra. And the Gayatri Mantra goes like this. Om Bhur Bhava Swa Tat Savitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimhi Dhiyo Jonha Prachodhyat. This mantra would be chanted by me during 3 stages: morning, afternoon, and evening. And these 3 stages would be attributed to Brahmani Gayatri 6 a.m., Vaishnavi Gayatri at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and Rudrani Gayatri at 6 p.m. And I was quite used to doing that, and I think benefits were tremendous. But whenever I'm in distress, I would, instead of Durga Mantra, I would start chanting Gayatri Mantra. Within 3 times of Gayatri Mantra's chanting, all the problems would dissolve as if they were never there. I couldn't have asked a life so simple because of Upanayana, Gayatri Mantra, and things to understand. Now, this last symbol is literally a representation of Trikuta mountain you can see in the middle. You can see the temple of Mata Vaishno Devi. You can even see Brahmani Gayatri, Vaishnavi Gayatri, and Rudrani Gayatri, 3 lights in the center, and the Surya or Sun God, Sandhya Vandanam at 3 stages. You can also see Ida, Pingla, and Sushma Nadis, which Satchakra Nirpana also talks about it, and Akhand Sutra also talks about it, and Tantra Vidya also talks about it. This is literally a culmination of Tantra Vidya of Lord Shiva and modern sciences explained in the light of autonomic nervous system ganglia, endocrine system, and the entire physical body. And while Lord Shiva was not talking in abstract ideas, he was just trying to explain what is there within the physical body. Unless until 100 trillion cells, 100 billion neuron cells are understood and integrated, you can't really be perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise, and happy. The entire experience of mine has been with these 7 years itself. Seeds of such impeccable wisdom were laid into my nervous system. I'm surprised, but I'm glad it was done And it started unfolded slowly after that, one by one, unconsciously, subconsciously, which we'll discuss about the next 14 years of Kishore Avastha as a young adult student. So thank you very much. We'll